My time in Melbourne, though, was split between getting back into GTA 5.
Just got released, did it?
No, it's like 8 years old, but
Oh,
it's still
okay, sorry.
such a good game. Such a good game. Anyway, it doesn't do great things to my driving once I stop playing it, or to my mental health, probably. And my 17-year-old son, is constantly telling me off for playing that game. So I got re-addicted to that. And then he made me, well, not made me, he said to me, let's watch a movie together. I said, sure, like a streaming movie, unusual for me. And interestingly, he sat me down in front of the old South Park movie. Did you watch that when it came out? It was
I've never watched South
99
Park.
or something.
I've never watched any South Park at all. I didn't realize it was still going, 28 years or something on.
Well, I don't know if it is. Is it still going?
Well, the reason why I know is because my son asked me last week, I think he's inherited my love of Wikipedia listicles. And he said, oh, we're talking about The Simpsons being 35 years old, and said, oh, what's the longest running TV shows? Went through the whole list of longest running. And most of them were, I won't even ask you because it's like news and NFL footballs. There's all that sort of stuff.
What do I know about TV shows as well, right? I'm the worst person to ask. I just said to you, is South Park still going?
Yeah, well, apparently it still is, according to this Wikipedia listicle site. And it's right up there. So you got Family Guy, obviously Simpsons, sort of the longest cartoon type thing. And then there's Family Guy, South Park, very similar, actually. I think like maybe South Park's a little bit older, but both sort of multi-decades, which is remarkable.
Well, my 14, almost 15-year-old daughter said to me, do you think that South Park movie is appropriate for me? And I said, I actually think it's appropriate for no age level. Like GTA 5, the game, it's appropriate for... Mike, have you seen that movie?
I saw that movie when I was 10 years old and it ruined my life. Because it is the crudest movie ever made.
Basically, what I love about that movie, and this is how I feel about GTA 5, and that's why I talk about them together, is on the surface of it, they are the worst of what goes on with kind of modern society and, let's say, the USA more generally. But really what they are is unbelievably biting satire of the hypocrisy of Western civilization and the US in particular. And GTA 5, where you basically run around and can kill everything and everyone, if you listen to the radio, it is so sarcastic about gun culture and about the drugs culture. And basically, the South Park movie, which I would highly recommend for people who are not easily offended, and maybe we could go further and say it's difficult to offend. The thing about that movie, it's basically a satire on free speech. And so that I thought that was an unusual batch of activities that I had over the course of the last week, like extreme tennis, addiction to GTA 5 again, and then watching the South Park movie. Needless to say, my 17-year-old son, I think, probably thinks it's the best movie he's ever seen.
Could I give you guys a quick business fact on South Park that you might find interesting?
Yeah.
So Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, signed a $900 million deal with Paramount Plus for the rights to the show, and for, I think, 10 original feature-length kind of South Park episodes exclusive to the platform.
When was this?
Within the last 3 years, I think.
Okay.
Well, they deserve it, because when you watch that movie, what you realize is their level of musical talent is actually unbelievably high. Like, really, if you look at the songs are so catchy. They have this medley in there, which is like, it's as good as any musical that's being staged. And their dialogue is fantastic. And the story is a bit like, the plot is not sensational, frankly. But like, anyway, it was very interesting. And I think that, like, when people, people are so negative about the US, but then you have these things like that video game and like this movie, which just shows in some ways the smartest and the best of the US making fun of everything that's problematic in the US. So that was part of my week. It was a surprisingly entertaining week.
We talked about the Simpsons. A couple of Simpsons. You a Simpsons fan?
Come on. Who's not a Simpsons fan?
So, I haven't watched it for many years, but I was a huge fan for the first probably 10. How old do you think Homer is? So Dan Castellaneta, who voices Homer, how old do you reckon Homer let's go through the characters. How old do you reckon Homer and Lisa are?
What do you mean, how old are they?
In real life, how old is
the voice, do you mean?
Dan Castellaneta, the actor who plays
the voice actors. How old are they now?
How old are they now?
I mean, they've got to be close to 70.
Yeah, so they're both 66. Yeah. How old do you reckon Marge is?
Oh, I mean, I just think they're all about the same.
So 73. And here's a really interesting one. So Harry Shearer, who you remember Harry from Spinal Tap and a bunch of different stuff. So he
Spinal Tap, what another unbelievably good satire.
I knew you'd love that.
Well, that's where Turn It Up to 11 comes from.
Which I don't know of. So
oh, do you don't know? You know when you say like with something's fantastic or something's nuts, and you say, "Oh, it's been turned up to 11."
I thought that was a different show. So
no, that's like where they like, how do we make it more extreme? Just like turn the speaker up to 11, right? Yeah. I mean, like it's a great line.
So it's interesting. So Simpsons is 30, obviously the longest running sort of cartoon, I think the longest running comedy serial sort of thing ever. At 34 years, you got Harry Shearer, who voices Mr. Burns, Smithers, Ned Flanders, Reverend Lovejoy, Lenny, Winchell Skinner, Ken Brock. Pretty essential to the show. Like basically every non-Simpsons character he almost voices. He's 80 now. You got to wonder, does the Simpsons carry on without Harry Shearer? I think it'd be pretty hard. So you've got this incredible show that has lasted the test of time, may die with Harry Shearer, who probably isn't that well known a person, interestingly. So interesting little fact there.